Hey Rebels, Andy McCabe here, your de facto restoration rebel leader. Hey, I just had either a moment of sheer stupidity or a brief moment of brilliance. I'm working up a price list for the McKenzie River Vida area of Oregon. Last year, last year or 2 years ago, we had an incredibly bad wildfire destroy, just absolutely flatten several communities. And I'm working with some homeowners there, some as a PA, some as a consultant, some as a blah, 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 blah. Doesn't matter. I'm working up a price list. And this is not an amazing, fantastic price list. I am going to boost this particular price list by 35%. I'm going to factor it by 35% across the board. But it occurred to me as I am creating this price list, and I probably can't share my screen because it's Facebook, whatever else. Xactimate gives you an option to name the iteration of the price list that you are about to publish. And customarily, my custom price lists, I use things like Q2 underscore 22. Q2 is the second quarter of 2022. But it occurred to me as I'm about to hit create or publish on this price list, why don't we be very intentional about the price list we're about to create? So I am going to name this price list, this particular price list. Let me come back over here. Okay, hold on. I'm going to go to my markets. This is the McKenzie price list, and it's going to be McKenzie Recovery. And that is going to tell anyone that sees this price list in this particular estimate and any other estimate I generate as part of this fire, this devastating fire, this is the recovery price list. Let me tell you what I think that means. That means that any area that has been struck by a hurricane or a devastating fire or a derecho, which just hit Ohio, by my understanding, this is the pricing that's going to take to get the job done in this area. Because guess what? Everyone's been wiped out in this area. This is a devastation. This is an official disaster. Getting resources and manpower and materials and equipment into these areas is going to be more expensive than if this disaster hadn't hit this area. This is our way to telegraph to whoever is going to read this estimate, attorneys, appraisers, adjusters, contractors, anyone else, that this is not a normal situation. This is not a regular market situation. As a result of this disaster, hurricane, tornado, derecho, wildfire, costs have increased dramatically, way beyond what costs have already increased in our markets nationwide. I didn't fill up my tank today because I drove by the gas station at $5.15 a gallon. You know, I'm probably going to fill up tomorrow at $5.25 a gallon because I was just shell-shocked. Honestly, between you and I drove by the gas station to the donut shop. True story. I bought a dozen donuts today instead of gas because that made me feel better about what I was doing today. I digress. Those of you out there that are doing custom pricing, I invite you to telegraph through the nomenclature, through naming this pricing, I invite you to tell whoever's going to read this to look at, they're going to have no doubt in their mind when they read that price list, and it's on the cover sheet of every Exactly Made estimate. Oh, this is the recovery price list for the McKenzie River, or Ohio, or Florida recovery price list. We do this intentionally, as we should do everything in our lives. The intention is to telegraph and leave no doubt in anyone's mind what the purpose is. This is not a regular market. This market is not just any other market in the world. This is a market that has just been affected dramatically by a disaster. And the pricing in those markets, historically, I invite anyone to argue with me. The pricing is going to be higher. It's going to be more difficult to get manpower, equipment, and materials into these areas, not just immediately following the disaster, but 24 months after the disaster. Because guess what? The infrastructure has been destroyed in these areas, and you have to bring whatever you're going to bring in to do the job from outside the area, which adds expense. So it should be a no-brainer. It should be an easy argument to win. But as I do with everything I do, I'm not operating in a vacuum. I'm not operating on my own. I'm operating with you. 7,000 of you who are here with me fighting this fight every day. And so this is me helping you, hopefully, and by helping you, you're going to help me. And guess what? We're going to help each other. It's magic. It's magic. So consider this. When you make a custom price list, add the term recovery at the end of it. Or come up with something else. But if you're going to come up with something else, let us know what you're using so we can decide what we want to use. So, Rebels, hope you're doing well. Hope you're being good. Stay in touch. Hope you see you Thursday for the Restoration Rebel Roundtable at 1 p.m. Pacific. As always, all right, we'll see you.